So just like 2 weeks ago, I booked my first ever inbound call, and 2 days after that, I booked another inbound call with just like 6 subscribers and like getting 30 to 40 views per video. And people think it's luck, but like it was just like one simple, like really simple client acquisition system that I used for myself and got results like these with just like again like 6 subscribers and 11 videos. Well, now I have 11, but whatever. And in today's video, like I'm gonna be sharing this whole client acquisition system with you. So who is this for? This is for like high ticket coaches who are providing real authentic value but still struggling to book calls. And a really important requirement for this system is like you have to take action. Like if you don't really take action, none of this will matter. So you have to go through this like massive wall of fire, right? And then what you will get out of it is like a predictable client acquisition system that is going to help you book more calls predictably and get high ticket clients, even if you have a small channel like me, which is really rare. But anyways, like let's just begin with it, because usually if you're watching this video, you probably would have like at least 100 subs, I don't know. So first, principles of inbound client acquisition, which is mainly from YouTube. So number one, what we have is like humans in your niche. When we expose them to a specific stimuli, and I'm going to explain these terms in really detail, so do not worry about that. And these are like really important things for you to understand before you understand this acquisition system. Then like when we show these humans in your niche to a specific stimuli, we evoke a desirable action that we want them to take, which is usually book and calls, right? And then we have like metrics to improve our system, and we have this environment, which is like the gurus in your niche affecting the environment, right? So let's talk about each element in detail so you understand clearly, right? So first element is like humans in your niche. And really important note, I'm gonna go extremely deep now, so bring your consciousness to this video, full screen it or whatever you want, but just pay attention, right? Just give me a few minutes and I'll try and give you best value. So this is the person in your niche that you're trying to sell. But before we understand their current self, let's understand how their life shaped them, right? So this is the person, and they're standing on kind of a pyramid, which is like made of like their latent triggers, belief, desires, traumas, experiences, and a lot more things, right? And like latent triggers, I'm going to explain you what it is, but for now, like let me just like explain these things to you. So now, before you say like you already know all this, just bear with me for a second here, so like you can really see for yourself like if you actually know it or not, right? So you've got to understand that the person you are trying to sell, from now on, they're not just a walking head figure, but like these person in your niche are cultivated from their experiences, which then shape their belief, and these beliefs create a false sense of reality. Now I'm gonna explain like what this means. So for example, I was a swimmer while growing up, right? So now, just because of the experiences I had as a kid, like like going to swimming pool and like doing like 6 kilometers of workout in like what 2 hours or 3 hours per day. So experiences I had as a kid, it shaped my belief, and now I associate water with calmness, solitude, or peace, right? And for some other person, they might have experiences of drowning in water. Well, not literally, but like some people have this like kind of phobia where they cannot breathe. So their experiences have shaped their beliefs, so they now associate water with danger, right? So now those beliefs create a reality that is fake, but since we are not conscious of this fake reality, we believe it to be true. Now let me explain in detail, like what does that mean. So this is the person, and they are like built on their experiences, and then assumptions, and then conclusions of experiences and assumptions, heard stories, watched YouTube videos or any kind of videos, and then these conclusions create the belief, and those beliefs create their fake reality that they believe to be true. But like somewhat like this. And again, like I'm gonna tell you like how to use all this, so like do not worry about that. But now the actual question is like what actual reality is, like what like is the true reality. And the answer to that is like perspective. So like if we go back to like my own story, I was right in my situation, and the other person who had the experience of drowning in water, he was right in his perspective, right? So like we both are right, but it all just depends on perspective, right? So now the big question is like how to actually use this information. Look, now I explained all of this for one person, right? But in your niche, there will be thousands of people, and to know all of this, to understand like their particular experiences, it's kind of impossible, right? Which is why, like, look at this. Now, instead of having separate experiences, we will find their common experiences of them and continue our process like that, right? So here's what I mean by this. My niche, which is like you guys basically, right? So high ticket coaches providing real value on YouTube but still struggling to book calls and would love to add 20 to 50k in your new monthly recurring revenue, right? So first of all, if that's you, you can book a quick call from the description, from the first link in the description. But whatever, in my niche, here are some common experiences of, like I tried to find out. I think these are true, but like let's just see. So problem, right, which is like conversion and content. They are getting views, maybe not. They are posting valuable content, but they are not able to convert them sometimes because of how the content is posted or their funnel basically, right? And they just keep trying different things and hoping something works, right? Well, shameless plug, if that's you, like you can book a quick call. But anyways, like, so you have to do this for your own niche, right? For example, let's just say like my product is like helping high ticket coaches at 20 to 50k MRR, right? Now I have to understand what your experiences are and what your traumas are related to the past guys you hired, right? So for example, you hired someone to help you with your content and help you with booking more calls, but they just changed how you create your content, and now you are not even booking as many calls as you used to before hiring that guy. So now, like, I have to understand those wrong beliefs that you have, and I have to replace them with the right ones. And to go from this process of replacing your wrong belief with the right ones, I have to say some words to you, right? Which is why like I have to create a specific stimuli, which are basically the words, and to have you hop on a call with me and sell you my services, right? So understand that this is insanely important before you create your own stimuli, basically your videos, but I'm going to explain it below, right? So this was the humans in your niche part, and this was the first element in the client acquisition system. You really do have to understand, and I hope I help you give a different perspective that could now make things easier for you, right? Now, second element is creating a stimuli that evokes the desired action from your viewers. Now, before moving forward, let's understand like what a stimuli is actually. A stimuli in our case is basically the words we say on a YouTube video, or what we write on our Calendly description, or like on sales pages on YouTube description, that will evoke action from your viewers, right? Now, once you have understand humans in your niche, your next step is to understand what ideas to create video on, titles, thumbnails, hooks, what kind of value to actually provide. And then when you do all these things, right, that will then evoke the desirable action from your viewers, right? So now I'm assuming that like most of you would have like different niches, so we are gonna be talking in first principles, and in my opinion, like first principles are a lot better than this like tactical stuff. So I will not just be explaining in first principles, but like I will also be giving examples from my own niche for you to understand better, right? So just to remind you again, I've booked like 3 to 4 calls from YouTube with just like 7 subs and 11 videos. So I think like I have a pretty good idea of what I'm talking about, but let me just explain the main things, right? How to create YouTube videos that evoke the desired action from your viewers, which is basically to book calls, right? So first principle, hashtag 1, which is pain. This one is like really, really, really important, like I cannot put more emphasis into it, but like try and imagine this, right? So this is the current situation of the person in your niche with bad health, bad relationship, bad money. 3 biggest areas people usually have problem with, right? Then we have their desired situation, which is like good health, good relationship, good money. So between the current situation and the desired situation, there is a gap, as we can see this gap, right? And this gap is the pain, right? Like, because they are not in their desired situation, that thing is causing them pain, right? And look, this is something that a lot of you, even at some point, even I freak up on this, that we cannot create pain, we can only amplify the existing pain, right? So if I come up and I say to you that, hey, like, if you can just put this Calendly description into place, you're gonna book more calls. Do you care about that? Not really, because you probably might be booking good amounts of call, right? So let's just say like a problem you have is like, understanding how YouTube works, and like you don't know what idea to create video on and all these things, which is why like I can like amplify that pain of yours through my videos like these. So you can book a quick call with me right from the first link in the description. Right? So now your goal is to find their pain and amplify it through your videos, and as a result of that you will evoke the desired action from your viewers. So here's how to actually find pain in your audience, right? So this is the thing that we already discussed, right? Now on the other side we have basic human needs, which is like the psychological needs, the safety and security, love and belonging, self-esteem and self-actualization, right? So when we mix these, um, so we are talking as a niche, right? We are not talking about a particular person. So when we talk about the, like your niche's pains, your niche's desires, and your audience's like belief, when we mix all these things with basic human needs, this creates pain, right? So like a lot of you would have like a belief that authentic videos like these that I'm creating right now book more calls, right? So, and on the other side, like you might have a human need of having more money, right? So when we mix these two things, I understand that you have a problem of making money, and I can amplify that pain with a concept related to how to create better authentic content, right? So this is how you find your audience's pain and problem, right? Now how do you actually amplify this pain and problem that you just found about them, right? So the best way to do it is let them think, right? Let your audience think. This one is like really really important, so this is a person and they watch some video, and let's just say like the goal for this video is like having your viewers understand that using human psychology is the best way to sign high ticket clients, right? So let's just say like this is the goal of this video, right? So let's say I posted this video in which the goal is to is to convey a message that human psychology is the best way to sign high ticket clients. Why? Because for example, let's say that my services combine human psychology with high ticket clients, right? So here's how I will convey this message through my videos so that they feel this pain being amplified, right? Now I'm gonna begin this video, or like not begin, but like I'm gonna create this video with a specific set of chain of belief, right? So first thing would be like, there is a reason why six-figure coaches steal your clients, right? They understand your clients better than you understand them, and even if you do understand them, you're not able to make a personal relationship with them, which you should be building, which is the most important thing in client acquisition, right? And just because these six-figure coaches understand human psychology, they are able to create a personal relationship with your clients, and then those clients leave your coaching membership and they join this six-figure coach, right? So I basically used jealousy as an emotion to create the fear of losing all of their remaining clients, right? And I will have them feel this pain, right? I'm gonna make them imagine this scenario of like what it's gonna be with having zero clients, how their life is gonna look like, and is it good or is it ethical? Well, in reality, like if you look at it at face value, it probably might not look moral, but like if you can just like let's just say like they bought your services and you changed their life, they are making more money, they are happy than ever before, then I think bro, like the net outcome is good, which is what we want at the end of the day, right? And this is how you use pain, which is like liver #1, to induce action from your viewers, right? Now second principle is like confidence. So the next roadblock of why people don't usually take action or book calls from your videos is because like their lack of confidence in your ability to deliver on your services, right? So without any long explanation, like let me just give you some like tactical stuff on how to create confidence in your viewers so that they book a call from you, right? So first way to do this is conviction, right? This is like really, really important. Whatever claim you're making, say it with conviction. If you don't do it with conviction, it will be impossible for you to induce confidence into your audience, right? They are not gonna feel motivated to book call. Now, second way to do this is your offer. Actually, this should be, like the first way, but like whatever. This is like really, really important thing if you want to induce action, or like if you want to induce confidence into your audience, right? So this is like the best and most important way to induce confidence into your audience. Offers are extremely important, so offer something like really desirable outcome with guarantees if possible, like these things like tend to work really well. And third way to do is by like testimonials and social proof, right? So this is how you basically induce confidence into your audience. Now that we have it out of our way, the third really important thing that you have to do with your YouTube videos is to create trust, right? We all know how important trust is, in at least in our info product space, which is why like you have to, like you cannot lack on that thing. So let me go to the basics here, right? How do you trust a person when they share a secret with you, or when you meet their family, especially their parents? Why? Basically, you trust a person the most when they share or do something for you that they don't usually do with everyone, right? So how do you implement this in your business? Well, one way to do this is Instagram stories, but since we are talking about YouTube, I'm also going to tell you that by the end of this section, right? And you're also going to understand it by yourself. So Instagram is one way to go about this. So the first step is to post an IG story, something like this: hey, if you want to learn the best cold email template, DM me pop, and you will get access to a private video in which you can learn how to create the best cold email template for free. Now we told them that, hey, DM us some keyword and we are gonna send something that is special for you, that is only for you, right? Now psychologically, once they get this thing, they will be like, I just got access to a video which no one else had, right? We just built a personal connection with them. Now this is the key part of how you send the video, because like you obviously cannot create like a personal video for every single one of your viewers. So here's how to do it. Take your YouTube video, upload it on Google Drive, right? So Charlie Morgan does it, and like here he pastes the link for the Google Drive, and believe me, like people wouldn't know even a bit that if it's like the video is available on YouTube or not, and in all honesty, like they really don't care about that, right? So this is how you well, basically you can like copy it. Let me just zoom it here, right? You can pause it and somewhat model this thing, right? Do not copy it. So this is how you do the hardest part in the easiest possible way. So like basically understanding how, like, so instead of like telling you like what stimuli to create, because like bro, like these stimuli are really would be really different for every single niche, right? And for me to cover all that would be like really like difficult, obviously, which is why like I gave you the first principles, and keeping these first principles in mind, you can understand like what kind of hooks to create, what kind of ideas to work on, so that you can like book more calls basically, right? Now the third thing is like understanding the metrics to improve your system, right? So if we go back to, let me just go back here, right? So now we have learned humans in our niche, and we have learned what kind of stimuli to create, and hopefully like if we do all this correctly, even if let's just say like we do it 70 to 80% correctly, we still are gonna book like way more calls than you probably used to, right? So now usually bro, like if you change your metrics, if you change your stimuli after every single video, that is now how it should go. Usually like at least like let 4 to 5 videos flow before you actually analyze your metrics and improve your client acquisition system, right? So now we are gonna understand like how these metrics work. Moreover, like what are these metrics on YouTube, and how they work, right? So number one, which is like the ideation. If you don't have a big channel, focus on proven topics, that have already gotten views for other people in your niche, right? If you have some kind of proof and testimonial, use it in the hook of the video, use it everywhere you can, right? Second thing we have is like title and thumbnail, right? So these, when you open your YouTube studio, basically like there will be a lot of sections about like CTR, AVD, and which is basically the average view duration. Then you have like you will be able to understand where does your impressions come from, what your viewers watch, and all these things, right? But like I'm gonna go also into that, like as you can see we have impression, CTR, AVD here, but I want to cover this thing before, right? So second thing we have is like title and thumbnail, which is basically the packaging. Now this matters a lot more than people think. It's not just to help you get views or get clicks, but it's one of the biggest factors. If YouTube, like it's one of the biggest factors for YouTube to understand if they're gonna actually push your videos or not, right? And if you've got like proof or testimonials, like again use them into like your titles or like all these things, right? Now talking about like what kind of title and thumbnail to use, like let's just say like you modeled some idea from a guru or well-established guru in your niche, right? Model their thumbnail also, right? I did this for one of my videos, and it was like video which basically got the most views, right? So yeah, instead of like trying and coming up with something new, I just prefer on proven topics, at least for now, right? Third thing is like YT tags and description. Now this is another insanely important element that YouTube is gonna analyze before it actually decides who to push your audience or like who to push your videos towards, right? Look, after the title and thumbnail, the thing that comes into play is YT description. In description, you have to use tags in the beginning to let YouTube know and understand your audience. Now I struggle with this a lot, because like before these kind of videos I used to create raw videos, like talking about like day in my life or all these things, right? And yeah, maybe tags, like I use them because like I told you, like I struggle, I still do to some degree, but like it has improved a lot. But for that reason, like I have to use tags. But even let's just say like you have somewhat established YouTube channel, you really don't have to care much about that, right? Now the next thing we have is like impressions. Now here is the basic things, bro. Like once you put out 4 to 5 YouTube videos, you're gonna see like who YouTube is actually showing your videos to, right? So I want my videos to go to guys like you who are high ticket coaches, right? And if it goes to somewhat like job recruiters, I'm gonna have a low average view duration, and because of low average view duration, YouTube is not gonna push my videos, right? So the tricky part about impressions is just like you have to get it from the right people, and packaging will help you with all of that, right? Next thing we have is the CTR. Again, like if you have done all your packaging right, you don't have to worry about it. Now average view duration, this one is really important, and a really big part of that depends on the hook. So here's my sweet simple formula for hook, which is like creating authority, providing social proof and testimonial, and basically establishing why is it important for you to watch the video right now, right? So if we go here, I tried to build the authority, credibility, social proof with all of these screenshots, right? So yeah, I hope like you understand that thing. So if you can nail your hook, you might just have a chance to have an average view duration of 15 to 25%. If it's below than this, YouTube usually don't push your video. And basically like the key is to again like tell them like why is it important for them to watch the video right now. Now for the past few videos, I have been having good average view duration, which is like 17 to 20%, and I think like it's good. So, and once you do all of this correctly, you will get views as a result of it. And yeah, like I mean the max views I got was like 35 to 40 views, as I told in the beginning. But just off of that, I booked like 2 to like 4 inbound calls with just off of that. So yeah, like do not, like, really important thing for this to understand is like, do not change your metrics after every single video. At least post like 5 to 7 videos before actually analyzing and seeing like what the fuck is actually wrong. And I basically recommend you using, like ChatGPT for this, because like YouTube basically is like algorithm, and like yeah, like ChatGPT knows it really well, right? Now the next element which we have is like the gurus in your niche affecting the environment. So if we go back up here, here it is, right? The environment in which you have to play your game, right? Look, let me explain how this works, right? With an example. So just like 14 to 18 months ago, every niche used to work on this video model, or somewhat similar to this, right? Which is like Iman Gadzhi's basically. But then what started to happen was like a lot of medium size and big size creators came together, and either knowingly or unknowingly, these creators pushed their audiences for creating raw, authentic, valuable videos on YouTube, right? So somewhat like the one I'm creating right now. And even today, like this Iman Gadzhi style works for a lot of people, but like still, like a really, really large amount of people is hopping onto this raw, authentic content kind of thing, right? So this was an example to show you like how the gurus in your niche can influence your market right now. So you have to be really up to date with these things. You have to make sure like what is happening in the niche. So for example, like 1 year ago, copywriting was a lot more in demand, right? And now, like, I don't know, bro, basically, like, personally I switched from like a copywriter to somewhat into like client acquisition, and it's working a lot better for me, right? So you have to understand, like where your niche and market is headed, and position yourself in a direction where money is gonna flow, right? So that was it for the video. Like, these were like the four elements in this like simple client acquisition system that helped me book 3 to 4 calls with just like 6 to 7 subs. And I probably am gonna book more calls with this like exact same system. So like, I hope this video made the work easy for you, so actually implement it. If you like the video, there is button for it below. If you want to subscribe, you can. Really important thing, if you got a good idea to create a video on which you're probably struggling with, let me know in the comments, and if I think I can, I will, right? So yeah.